welcome. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to carve out a little piece of time for some lunch and some good information. I'm with Troy University. Troy University started back in the late 1800s in Alabama. It was originally a school for preparing folks to teach. It was actually a woman's teaching college. And in that short period of time, since 1887, we've grown to have campuses all over the world, including Augusta, Georgia. And I'm very excited to say that Southeastern Technical College and Troy University have a reciprocal agreement where we accept transfer credits from your school. So if any of you are interested in learning more about Troy and about the possibility of continuing your education after you graduate here, we'll be glad to talk with you about that. My name is Phillip Hare. I'm a recruiter at the Augusta Support Center for Troy University. I've been working with Troy for about 4 years now. And prior to that, I worked in workforce and business development for 15 years with Aiken Technical College. So I feel like I've been very fortunate to have some good experiences in the technical college system as well as in the education system with Troy. And one of the great joys of my job is getting to know great faculty members. We're fortunate in Troy, Augusta to have 3 full-time faculty members in counseling and psychology. And Dr. Jeff Ickes is here with me today, and he's agreed to come and entertain us and inspire us and challenge us to grow in some new and exciting ways. You're really going to enjoy hearing from Jeff in just a second. If you would like to receive information about Troy, please see one of us before you leave. I will be glad to talk with you after the meeting. We'll also be glad to share with you information as well. Dr. Ickes came to Troy in Augusta 4 years ago from Alaska. I like to make up a story about him riding a motorcycle from Alaska to Alabama to Augusta, but that's not true. He drove in a car. But he's had 40 years experience in the mental health, counseling, and psychology field. He's going to come now and help us stay awake during this lunch hour. And Jeff teaches graduate students at Troy. And Jeff, we're glad to have you at Troy. Appreciate the opportunity to hear from you now. Thanks, guys.
Okay. Hopefully this will be fun and challenging. I have been in the field for about 40 years. I am a psychologist. That means I'm a little cuckoo, a little crazy. My only claim to fame is my socks have never matched. I always have interesting socks that show people. That started a long time ago when I used to be a math major, and we had to come up with a formula that predicted something in life that would help us improve the quality of our life. And I'm sitting there in the laundry room trying to figure out what can I predict, and I realized every time I went to the dryer, there'd only be one sock, and I know I put 2 of them in the washer, and I look around and I never find the other one. So I came up with this formula that predicted how many hours of my lifetime I would spend matching socks if there was sometimes one missing. And it turned out that formula predicted that I'd spend 4,326 hours of my lifetime matching socks. And I thought, oh my God, how would I ever explain to God that I spent 4,000 hours of my lifetime matching socks? And I know some people, they buy all black socks or all white socks, or they don't wear socks. But that's all boring to me. So I immediately gave up matching socks, and I immediately changed my major to psychology. Because when you're a psychologist, you can be a little cuckoo. You can be a little crazy and say, oh, well, he's just a psychologist. So hopefully you'll pick up a little bit of that in my message today. And my major message as we talk about this transformational communication is make sure that you're you and that you're doing what you want to do. You might find something you can't believe they're going to pay you to do for your lifetime, because this life goes so quick, it's so fragile, it's so beautiful, and it's so special. And the most important thing is you. And as I look at this group, what a beautiful group. Wow. wow, you guys have something going here. And in a few moments, we'll see what you have going here. But just for a moment, I want you to say to a person next to you, and you're going to have to yell over there, I want you to evaluate your energy right now on a 1 to 10 scale. 10 being, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to be alive, I can't stand it. I'm awesome, I'm fantastic, I'm special. And 1, oh my God, you know, I'm only here for the pizza. And when I leave, I'm going to do away with myself. So on a 1 to 10 scale, just real quickly, we're going to do this later on to see where your energy went, but today's all about energy. So say to the person next to you, what number you honestly, realistically are right now, given this time of the day, noontime?
I think I'm hitting 7.
Anybody needs help with the numbering system? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many people used a half, like 7.5, or you know something? My students always try to throw me off with those little in-between things. Okay, so one of our basic goals is, as human beings, is to have our energy high and to really give off energy. You know, there's 2 types of people in the world. There's life givers. Those are people you're with for 5 minutes, and oh my gosh, you start wailing, you get excited. They're puppies, they're kittens. There's all kinds of life forms that really give off energy and really make us special people. And then there's the other side of the coin, the life takers. You're with them 5 minutes, and oh my gosh, you've gone from a 10 to a 2, okay? Unfortunately, sometimes those are our own family members, okay? And that also is transforming communication. So communication can either raise us up and make us feel better, or it can make us feel bad, okay? And so as a psychologist, you know, and a marriage and family therapist, you know, I want people to thrive. I want them to get excited about life. In the morning time, I pop out of the bed and I walk up to the mirror and I go, woo! Another day, I can't believe I get another day to live. But I know people, they go and they look in the mirror and they go, oh God. Yeah. How can I cover it all up? I know we get some people that help me with that here. But we really do need to feel good about who we are as people, as individuals. That's a starting place. I do a lot of talks on love. Leo Viscalia, with a great love professor from USC, was one of my mentors. And the whole idea of love is that you can only love other people to the degree that you love yourself. And so a lot of us are looking for love somewhere outside of ourselves, and we forget, boy, you gotta love yourself first. The people that sit in the first row usually love themselves, okay? You know, the people back there and say, oh my God, I gotta get out of here. Don't worry, I'll come back and find you back there in just a few moments. Okay? It's so important to understand this transformational type of communication and things that we're saying to ourselves throughout each day. They can be things that lift us up, like me, woo, another day to live, or, oh God, I gotta make it through Monday, I gotta make it through Tuesday, those kinds of things. And that's really what we're gonna spend a few moments on. Now, I'm used to speaking to large conventions, and I go 2 and 3 hours. They gave me 45 minutes, and they said people will start leaving. Don't worry, I'll follow you, okay? I wore my running shoes. If you're a runner, I can run a long way, okay? But we'll try to keep this in a perspective that's important. I have so many things I could share with you, but I want to start with this first thing because I think this first thing is a starting point for everybody. I taught at LSU, and there was a young woman. You may even be familiar with this particular poem. It was found on her deathbed. She was 14 years old and committed suicide, and left a very powerful message that has been transferred over the internet many times. It's called Mask. Don't be fooled by me. Don't be fooled by the face I wear. For I wear a mask. I wear 1,000 masks. Masks that I'm afraid to take off, but none of them are me. You know, when you walk up to somebody and you say, how are you? They always say, fine, right? We know what the acronym for fine stands for. Frustrated, insecure, neurotic, emotional. Well, we're not always fine, you know, with ourselves, and she obviously wasn't. Pretending is an art that's become second nature with me, she said. Don't be fooled, for God's sake, don't be fooled. Oh, I'm going to give you the impression that I'm secure, that all is sunny and unruffled within me, within as well as without. that confidence is my name and coldness is my game, that the water is calm and I'm in command and that I need no one, but please don't believe me. My surface may be smooth, but you see my surface is my mask, my ever-bearing, ever-concealing mask. Beneath eyes no smugness, no complacence. Beneath flows the real me, in confusion, in fear, in aloneness. The statistics for America are frightening. The average person has less than 2 people outside of their immediate family that love them unconditionally. Now that's a powerful thing when you think of Facebook and all these 10,000 followers. Matter of fact, my friend there gave up Facebook. He had 10,000 people following him, and not one person after he dropped Facebook contacted him. He's a sad human being. But we have these artificial friends that we think we're really connecting with, but people that really care about you, people that you can call up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and they'll say, hello, I want to talk to you. You might try that tonight with a few people. Call them up and just say, I love you, I love you, I love you. They'll remember you the next morning, I promise you that. We end up, creating these false fronts, okay, so that, it covers up what's really inside. Counseling is now the number 3 fastest growing profession in America, and that's a very sad statistic for me. It's great for the career piece, but it's a very sad statistic. 75% of all marriages end in divorce. You always have heard 50% of first marriages, that when you factor in second and third and fourth, we're not doing a very good job in relationships, okay? The highest increasing suicide rate is teenagers. Teenagers, they haven't even lived yet, and enjoyed the beauty and magic of life, and we're doing away with ourselves in great numbers. So there's a lot of terrible kinds of statistics going on that show this idea that people don't love you just for you. And guess what? Most of us don't love ourselves for us. We got to lose a little weight. We got to wear a certain kind of jean. We've got to, do what Madison Avenue wants us to do. But we forget about what we need to do. And I guess that's my singular message is, really take a look at yourself and really enjoy yourself and fall in love with yourself. I sit in my office all the time and my students make fun of me, but, I just wiggle my hand. I think, how do I do that? How's that work? Isn't that incredible? The things that we can see with our eyes, they're fabulous, all these colors. Visit a blind person. They can't see that. But they'll braille you, they'll touch you, they'll feel you. We're not supposed to do that anymore, but blind people have no choice. So when they want to get to know you, they have to touch you. How wonderful. We've alienated ourselves from ourselves. We are deodorants, so we smell more like a tulip and a daffodil than a human being. Leo always challenged to go without your deodorant for 24 hours and see how many unconditional friends you have. That would really be challenging here in the South, wouldn't it? Yeah. So we need to get back in touch with who you are. The very, very first part of this message is learn about you. Look at yourself. Get excited about who you are right now. Not who you're going to be 2 years from now or 3 years from now, but right now in this moment, get excited because you've got this incredible potential. 99% of the world would change places with every single one of you right now. No questions asked. They take all your debts, they take all your problems, they take all your struggles, all your strain. To sit here and listen to me, that's pretty exciting. I can always think about that. But really, we need to pay attention to those kinds of things. And this young woman didn't have somebody to validate herself or somebody to teach her how wonderful she was until she committed suicide. The only thing that can assure me of who I am is acceptance by you. That's the only thing that can liberate me from my self-built prison walls, from these barriers that I so painstakingly have erected. That glance is the only thing that can assure me of what I cannot assure myself, that I'm really worth something. And you are. Nobody's told you this for a long time, but you are a total miracle. One of a kind in the whole history of the world. That should get you excited. There'll never be another you. Isn't that exciting? Humans have this fetish, I don't know what it is, but it wouldn't matter where I'm at, for rectangles and squares and boxes. I kind of look around the room and you see, look, we have rectangles on the wall, we have, rectangles up there, rectangle desk, we have this thing, about box-like shapes. And I always kind of feel like we put ourselves in boxes, accidentally. Early on, we I'm taught that. Unfortunately, educators, teach kids that trees have to have green leaves and the bark has to be brown and all these, special things. I had to learn the life cycle of a pine cone in school. Now, I never planned to be a pine cone. It's a 7-year life cycle for a pine tree to, germinate from this. And it's taking up valuable brain cells that I really need now, because there's still this one word that's the angiosperm. I have no idea what the rest of that life cycle, but it's taking up a valuable part of my brain right now, learning that. We force a lot of things on ourselves, but we forget the most important thing is you are special. You are magical. You are wonderful just who you are. And get excited about that. Get excited about the talents that you have. Get excited about the potentiality that's already there within you. That's so important, and that's part of this validation process, and part of what she didn't get. I only chatter to you in suave tones of surface talk. I'll tell you everything, yet nothing. I teach counseling classes, and people always start out with superficial conversations. And that's okay. We can talk about the sports, and we can talk about the weather, and we can talk about what happened to Orlando. That's okay. But I want to know you. I want to know that soul that's within you. I want to know your joys and your struggles. And the great thing is we're all imperfect. Isn't that wonderful? I'll demand you be perfect when I become perfect myself. We've all screwed up royally, and guess what? We're going to screw up again. So we're all screw-ups here at this wonderful school. Isn't that great? But when you get your papers back or your projects back, first thing you look at is what you got wrong instead of all that you got right. And what I tell you to do is try to reverse that with this transformational types of communication. Start getting excited about who you are and who you can be and what you can do. That's great. I was sitting in a waiting room in a small airport, and it was brought home to me by a young 6-year-old child. I was sitting there, and I looked great. I always look great. I love who I am. And matter of fact, at that point, I had plaid pants on, and oh man, it was great. But my socks didn't match at that point. And the little boy sitting with his mom across from me noticed, and he yelled to his mother in a very loud voice, and he said, "Mama, look, that man's socks don't match." And he was excited. He thought, "Oh, wow, that's great." And by the way, you can buy mismatched socks now. I started the trend. I didn't want you to know that. But anyhow, she looked at me rather indignantly, like, "You jerk." And whispered to him in a voice that she didn't think I could hear, "Oh, don't worry about that, Matthew. That man's just slow." Now that's the negative transformational kind of communication. That puts a person down, and we don't want to do that. But I have a buddy, and my buddy's upstairs there, and there was a seat empty next to her. And I thought, I have pretty good self-esteem. I mean, I really do. How can I teach this if I don't believe it? So I went over and got up and sat next to this woman who had just said I was slow. And I took my arm, because I'm not afraid to touch people, and I put it around her, and I said, I may be slow, but I'm a great lover, because I teach love classes and so forth. She got up, she took Matthew with her, and she ran to the women's room, And actually, this is kind of a bittersweet story. She actually never got on the same plane as me that day. We label people, and then we roll them out of our lives, and that's not a good thing. I'm not happy with even labels like gifted and stuff, because it still separates us. We're just human beings, or what I call human becoming, striving to find a meaning in life, trying to find love and happiness and joy. I think that's what we're all trying to do with each other. And we need to be careful to label ourselves or accept labels from other people. She ends by saying, "Don't be fooled by what I'm saying. Please listen carefully and try to hear what I'm not saying. Hear what I'd like to say, but I cannot say. I dislike hiding. Honestly, I do. I dislike the superficial game I'm playing. I really want to be spontaneous. I want to be genuine. And most of all, I want to be me." Isn't that what we really all want? And we just want somebody to love me as me. Just the way we are. My puppy does. Oh my gosh, my puppy totally loves me just as I am. My wife always trying to change me a little bit, but she's adapted to that too. Animals are much better unconditional lovers than humans are. They tend to see, what's best in us as a human being instead of, what's wrong with us. It won't be easy for you. Long felt inadequacies have made my defenses strong. The nearer you approach me, the blinder I may strike back. Despite what folks say, I'm irrational, for I fight against the very thing I cry out for. And like I said, she ended up committing suicide because she didn't have somebody to validate her as a unique human being. That's what we really desperately need. And now I'm going to give you a chance to do that. Okay? You've got that number in your head. You've shared it with another person. I want you to stand up, go find 3 other people that you don't know, and raise their energy level. Okay? Go stand up right now. Raise their energy. You can entertain them. You can hug them. You can play with them. You can make them laugh. And you can't leave them. You can raise their energy level. Find somebody new. Find I give that about a 5 on a 10. Yeah, we got to work on that a little bit more. Even in that moment, even in that moment, there is a transfer of energy from one person to another person. There is something that happens between us. The Eastern philosophy, people talk about the chakras, okay? This aura that surrounds our field, the more happy, the more positive, the more authentic we are, the more energy we have to give off. Sometimes, I only have these 40 minutes to speak, sometimes just spend some time and just move your hands in and out real slowly, and you'll feel that energy field. It feels like a magnet. It's a powerful, powerful energy field that surrounds our human body. As a matter of fact, people that have had limbs amputated, we can take a photograph of them using something called Kirlian photography, and the amputated limb is still there. It's positive. The whole body is there. We're whole spirit. We're whole being, and that's terribly, terribly exciting if you think about, who you are as a person. So you're not just a body, you're a spirit, and you're something special in that spirit. And like I was talking about the boxes, you got to get out of that box, because they're going to do everything. Society, Madison Avenue, education, unfortunately. A lot of people are going to try to put you in boxes, okay? And I always tease about it, but unfortunately it's probably true. I'm going to get through my life without being in a box, and then when I die, what are they going to try to do to me? They're going to put me in a box. I mean, that's kind of we're hung up on this thing. I know people that send flowers to funerals. Okay, I mean, why did they send the flowers before the funeral? I do that all the time. I say, hey, I'm sending you your flowers for the funeral now, so you can enjoy them and smell them. I randomly look people up in Augusta and send them flowers as acts of random kindness. I think I've created some of the divorces that are happening. Acts of random kindness. Do things for other people for no reason. They don't have to be big things, but little things make a difference. When I get stopped at a train track, there's a long train coming, I don't sit there in my car and get frustrated. I get out of my car. I think, oh, wow, there's this whole long line of people I can meet. Woo! So I go and I knock on the windows, and they roll down the window, what do you want? And I say, I just want to meet you. I'm Jeff, and I love life, and I'd like to get to know you while that train's there. I have now, a lot of times people roll down their windows and they hand me a $1 bill. I've got $18 so far. It takes a little risk to be a little kook, a little crazy, but I think there's a bigger risk in not being yourself. I think there's a lot. Thoreau, the great philosopher, said, oh God, to get to the point of death, just to discover you've never lived. I think that's what we're talking about. And again, you don't have to be cuckoo like me. You be you, whatever that might be. Everybody has a unique quality that you can celebrate and be that. You can sing. I can't sing at all. When I have a voice that sounds like Kermit the Frog, which I like. I like Kermit the Frog. There's something good about being green. But when I go to church, I love that. I like to sing loud, make a little noise. And I have people that actually move, from my pew. They move, a couple pews out. Again, if you have low self-esteem, you stay there, but not me. I follow them. I say, oh yeah, we can see a lot better from here. You gotta get into the light, the joy, the magic. And as children, we know that. We play, we're spontaneous, that everybody's our friend, until we start learning, about strangers and differences and so forth. So it's really important that we pay attention to those things. I brought a poem, one of my favorite poems, and I know I'm speaking quickly trying to keep that time in, but this is, I think, a great example of transformational communication. And this is a true story, by the way. The park bench was deserted as I sat down beneath the long, straggly branches of an old willow tree, disillusioned by life with good reason to frown, for the world was intent on dragging me down. I mean, we have days like that when you just know the world's out to get you. I'm a slow driver, okay? I mean, I drive 35 miles an hour on a 55 mile an hour freeway. In fact, the only time I got pulled over was going too slow. I mean, that's kind of embarrassing if you think. I didn't know there was a minimum speed. There is. What can I say? And if that weren't enough to ruin my day, a young boy, out of breath, approached me, all tired from play. He stood right before me with his head tilted down and said with great excitement, "Look what I found." In his hand was a flower, and what a pitiful sight, with its petals all worn, not enough rain or too little light. Wanting him to take his dead flower and go off to play, I faked a small smile and then shifted away. But instead of retreating, now this is a person that has good self-esteem, instead of retreating, he sat right next to my side and placed the flower to his nose and declared with overactive surprise, "It sure smells pretty and it's beautiful too. That's why I picked it here. I picked it just for you." I never can get through this without crying. The weed before me was dying or dead, no vibrant colors, orange or red. But I knew I must take it or he might never leave, so I reached for the flower and replied, "Just what I need." But instead of him placing the flower in my hand, he held it in mid-air without reason or plan. It was then that I noticed for the very first time that the weed-toting boy could not see. He was blind. He was blind. I heard my voice quiver, tears shone in the sun, as I thanked him for picking the very best one. "You're welcome," he smiled, and then ran off to play, unaware of the impact he'd had on my day. I sat there and wondered how he managed to see a self-pitying woman beneath an old willow tree. How did he know of my self-indulged plight? Perhaps from his heart he'd been blessed with true sight. Through the eyes of a blind child at last I could see the problem was not with the world, the problem was with me. And for all those times I had myself been blind, I vowed to see the beauty in life and appreciate every second that's mine. And then I held that wilted flower up to my nose and breathed in the fragrance of a beautiful rose. You see, if we look at things with loving eyes, they will be beautiful. And that's how you have to look at yourself with loving eyes. If we listen, with loving ears, we'll hear beautiful music. If we just take that and bring that within ourselves, we'll find that for ourselves. And I smiled as I watched that young boy, another weed in his hand, about to change the life of an unsuspecting man. Now that's life-transforming communication. That young blind child in a simple act was able to change the entire mood of that disillusioned woman. I think we can do that for each other all the time. I think we can do that with just 4 basic principles, and I call these the life principles. And again, I'll try to get through those pretty quickly. The first letter, we'll start backwards because I like to do things differently, is E. The first principle in doing life-transforming communication is to be enthused about what you have. Get excited about that. In the poem, that child was totally enthused by that flower that he had never seen. And you can get excited about you, Woo! Oh, I bet you get good hugs. I got to get one of those. But we can get excited about ourselves. Get excited about you, just the way you are. Not when you're different, not when you're changed, not when you're somebody else, but just now, by you.
check with those people that, and let them know, hey, there's this transform. I love me. That's a pretty good thing. We used to tell people, oh, it's bad to be selfish, but you know what? You have to be selfish, before you can be selfless, okay? Love other people as you love yourself. And so we've really got to work on that constantly throughout the day. Now, the first 10 minutes of every morning, here's a little tip for you. Right when you wake up, the first 10 minutes, you're in a very hypnotic state, okay? And that's when you can program yourself for a great day or a bad day. If you wake up and go, oh God, I don't want to go, I don't want to do it, you just automatically program yourself to have bad things happen, okay? On the other side of the coin, it's even better to lie to yourself. If you don't believe it, just say, oh, this is going to be a wonderful day. You're still programming that positive energy into your system, okay? It's a simple, simple technique. By the way, the same thing happens right before you fall asleep, okay? So please give up the news, okay? If you watch the news and go to bed, what are you going to dream about all night long? Okay, so we're programming ourselves for, unfortunately, our society has become a relatively negative society. There's lots of wonderful, beautiful, incredible things happening out there, but the news, it's always bad, right? At least 9/10 of it's bad, and so I watch the news. People tell me all the bad news, so I hear it anyhow. But be careful. Plan yourself around life-giving people and life-giving activities. So if you watch something and it pulls you down, don't do it again, okay? If you read something that pulls you down, don't do it again. If it raises you up, do it more, okay? Same with people. Oh, this is critical. Remember I talked about life givers and life takers? Stay away and love from afar those life-taking people. You can't help them. You can't change them. It'll never happen. I promise you that. Marriage and family therapy, I've done it for 40 years. That's not going to happen, okay? If you put 2 apples in a bag and one of them's rotten and one's healthy, a week later, what do you have? 2 rotten apples, okay? You can't do that, okay? So you got to get yourself healthy by yourself. That's part of this transforming communication, is to communicate to yourself. First thing in the morning, I'm going to have a great day. This is going to be awesome. I wonder what I'm going to do. Can I meet one brand new person today? And then when you fall asleep at night, I always set life goals for myself. I figured this might be my last day on this earth. Wow, what a great way to spend it with you guys. Woo! All right. I love what I'm seeing out here. So if it is, then I want to make sure I do something that's going to make a difference to my life, and hopefully a positive difference to somebody else's life. So when I go to the grocery store, I don't go in and selfishly shop for my own groceries. No, I go in and I find somebody that has a cart, and I take a loaf of bread off the shelf and say, oh, let's get some bread. Okay, and I can see they start getting tensed up a little bit. And, oh, orange juice, let's get some oranges. And it always is 3 items. After the 3rd item, I always get the same statement. Sir, do you realize you're putting stuff in my cart? Now see, they're being very selfish, okay? And I said, yeah, I thought I'd help you shop before I did my own shopping. And they started asking if there's a hidden camera. They started laughing. Now I have people that say, when are you going to shop again? That was fun. Don't do everything the same every day. Get out of your routine. I know people that drive the same way to the same destination every single day. Boring. I live about 15 minutes from work, and it usually takes me an hour and a half to get there. I weave around. I've seen places in Augusta nobody else has ever seen, and I get myself out of those places. But, we get into these routines, and the routines actually start reinforcing the boring part. And again, remember that little child inside of you loves excitement, loves newness, loves, freedom, loves creativity. Walt Disney, the beautiful, beautiful person, started Disney World and all these fabulous things, was told in 3rd grade by a life taker he had absolutely no ability in art and he better quit doing drawings, okay? He was actually criticized for the very thing that he's now famous for. Luckily, he didn't listen. And if I had another hour, I'd go through 100 different people that were told, absolutely, you're a failure, you're not going to be able to do it. And then they did it. It's fantastic, the kinds of things that are possible when you don't listen to other people. Listen to your heart. I think our brains are overworked. I would say that 90% of the people that come to me for counseling have one problem. They've overthought their life, okay? Thinking usually leads to anger, depression, anxiety. We think ourselves in all kinds of problems. I call good thinking. Don't think so much. Get out of the car. Go do something. I learned that, one last story. I learned that when I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, driving different ways. I was driving home a different way, and I was driving nice and slow, and just it reminded me of our drive down today because I saw a field with these beautiful horses running in it. Well, I got to this intersection that had a traffic light, and the light was red. And I just glanced over to the right of me, and there was this beautiful sight. A baby horse had just been born, and it was struggling to stand, by its mama. Now that was a miracle. I mean, I was just blown away by watching that. That was so incredible. And I wasn't paying attention to the traffic light. And of course, I don't know if they do that here. I don't know how many traffic lights you guys have. But in Shreveport, when the light changes to green, people blow their horn. Honk, honk. And sure enough, the person behind me blew their horn. Now, luckily, I had given up thinking, which I'm challenging you to do today, at least overthinking. I thought, I can get out of my car. He must have missed that. So I walked back to this man in the pickup truck, and I just went, whoa! And I got the reaction you probably thought I'd get. Look at what? Move your car. I got to hit the Walmart. Now, that's the state of our society. Walmart's more important than a miracle. I said, okay, I just wanted to make sure you didn't miss that. And I started walking back to my car. And then I heard his voice. He said, come back here a moment, son. I was much younger then. Again, in Shreveport, it's kind of common for people to have shotguns in the back of their cars. And I have this great defense mechanism. I figure if I do a crazy act, and I get blown away, that's like a free ticket into heaven. I'm pointing out a miracle, and if I get killed pointing out a miracle, it must be an automatic entrance into heaven, right? So anyhow, I walk back, waiting for this gun to be pointed at me. He says, his whole tone had changed. He says, I'm sorry, I yelled at you. He said, I grew up on a farm, and I can't believe I missed that, and I can't believe how much of me I've lost. It was beautiful. We had two men crying right there on the highway. I mean, it was really a very powerful message. In fact, when I taught classes, I often had him come and tell the story from his point of view. And so I got his name and number, and so I slowly walked back to my car. And as I was pulling away, I heard a honk, honk behind his car. And his car door opened up. And he went back and he said, look! I picture all night long, Field of Dreams, people pointing out this miracle that nobody would have seen. We have to pass on love. We have to pass on life. We have to pass on energy. And that enthusiasm is totally important. The F is the next letter I've got to cover, and that's about faith. You have to have faith, in life. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to have faith in God. You have to have faith in something bigger than you. I don't think there's any such thing as a problem. I think there's only opportunities. And so the minute I have some sort of problem, I think, I wonder what the opportunity is in this. If we just change our thinking a little bit, we'll start getting a little bit more faith, a little bit more energy, a little bit more vitality in who we are as people. And have faith in yourself. You're wonderful. You're fantastic. If somebody doesn't like you for a moment, hopefully it's just a moment. If they don't like you a whole bunch of times, just stay away from them. They're a life taker, okay? And then again, hang around with life givers. I mean, just surround yourself with these wonderful, vivacious, and they're all out there. The internet is not helping us, okay? We've done lots of research on Match.com and all these dating sites. There's only one couple that's ever been successful, and they're the ones on the TV interview. Because they use a very false way of matching people. They match interest. They match only certain aspects. But you're much more than that. Matter of fact, what we do know from relationships is that opposites usually attract, and that's fabulous, okay? So you get a feeling person with a thinking person. You get a doing person with a different type of person. And it's pretty exciting when you get those differences together. Learn people's love languages. There's a beautiful book called The Love Languages by Chapman, where he talks about the 5 love languages that people have. I'm a toucher. Okay, looking for that hug. She's ready to get it. I love, matter of fact, most men, it's funny, the interesting thing, most men, their number 1 love language is touch. And again, we're not talking sex or those kinds, but we're talking about just physical closeness, okay? Women, their number 1 love language is acts of service. They want somebody to do something for them that shows the love, okay? And then there's a whole bunch of other languages, gifts, and other ways, affirmations, like compliments, those kinds of things. Learn what people want, okay, instead of what you want to give them. That's another beautiful way to pay attention. The I is all about intensity and imagination, okay? I think we should live creatively with each other. So real quick, another exercise. Find one person this time, okay, and stand back to back with that person. Okay, stand up. We're going to do a little creative exercise. Stand back to back with one other person. Back to back. Everybody got somebody? Okay, we got one there. Hey, wait, we got a couple more. Here. Okay, here's one. Okay. Who needs a partner? Everybody got somebody? Phillip. Somebody over there. Okay. Good. Yeah, everybody. You only have one partner. I know you're into those group things, but no. Okay. Now, without talking, send a loving message. Send a loving message to your partner. Okay, without talking. Okay. Send a loving message. Some physical way. Send a loving message. Each of you send be creative. Think outside the box. Okay, now turn around and face it.
Face you right.
Turn around and face it. They're so engaged. Okay, now what just happened when you turned around? And you smiled and you were so separated. When you were back to back, you were touching each other and you were enjoying that. When you went front to front, oh my gosh. Imagination means that you try new things. You get outside of yourself. You're always open to something. I'm the worst dancer in the world. But, my wife and I, we have this little thing that once a weekend, she pulls something out of her hat and we do whatever that might be, and then I'll pull something out. We end up doing all kinds of different things, like line dancing. I'm the worst line dancer in the world. But I laughed, I had fun, and all those kinds of things with it. You can try new things and get yourself constantly out of your box. Meet new people. Mix yourselves up. Get to know everybody here in this room. Oh my gosh, what potentiality. If I had all afternoon, you'd know each other very intimately. And maybe ask you to come back and have that time. Because really, what is your education except to meet other wonderful, incredible, creative people? That's what life's all about. When you get to the point of death, Elizabeth Kubler-Ross tells us, you're not going to, be happy with your car. You're not going to want, your China collection on the table. You're not going to want all those things that we've collected. You're not even going to care about your bank account. What you're going to care about are the people that you love and the people that love you. You want somebody to hold your hand. You want somebody to support you. You want somebody to be there in that incredible moment. The average 20-year-old, like I said, has less than 2 people outside of their immediate family that love them unconditionally. The average 40-year-old has 1. And when we get to 60, it's less than 3, okay? It's less than that, okay? So we're collecting all these things that we think are important, and then we find out at the point of death that they really weren't that important. So if you can be way ahead of the curve by getting to know people, and I give you permission now, the rest of your time here, this beautiful school, go up to people, hug them, get to know them. No wonder what you're about, but they'll like that. Because remember, most people are lonely. All the odds are on your side that person's going to want to get to know you. They're always going to want to get to know you. You may end up with $18 if you get out of your car. Who knows, what's going to happen. But life is a beautiful, beautiful journey, and it's a wonderful thing. And the final letter of the word life is love. Love. Whatever the problem, love is the answer. I just can't emphasize that enough. And love yourself unconditionally and love other people unconditionally. Don't expect them to perform up to your standards. Just let them be them. Okay? And love yourself unconditionally. And start doing that. And say affirmations to yourself through each day. Wow, that was really a neat thought I had. Wow, that was neat that I reached out to a lonely person. Oh boy, I did an act of random kindness today. I feel really good about that. Okay, so talk to yourself in these most positive kinds of senses throughout each day. And then like we did in those 2 exercises, validate other people positively. Give them a compliment. That's a love language. You know, say something kind. Touch them. You know, rub them. Pet them. Just enjoy people. We've been given this incredible vehicle for our soul to travel in. And it's got not only 5 senses, but we estimate about 40 different senses that we can use to negotiate life. Intuition, you know, all these third dimension kinds of things. Creativity, art, music, all these fabulous things that we can use to share. Share yourself with other people. And then find a vocation that, again, you can't believe they're going to pay you to do. I mean, nobody can believe they paid me to teach. And that's okay. Because I'm really nutty about the idea that people need to be themselves and love themselves. And let me just wrap up. I think we're at that 45-minute mark. I did pretty good. There's no difficulty that enough love will not conquer. No disease that enough love will not heal. No door that enough love will not open. No gulf wide enough that love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. No sin that enough love will not redeem. It makes no difference how deeply seated may be your trouble, how hopeless the outlook, how muddled the tangle, how great the mistake. A sufficient realization of love will dissolve it all. If only you could love enough, you will be the most powerful and happiest person in the world. So love is the ultimate task that we need to read. Thank you for having me here today. God bless you. And I'll stay for questions. I know some of you have classes and things.